Statements voiced by our guests do not necessarily reflect the opinions of this network. Enjoy the shows.
You are listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, the best in paranormal talk, only on Paranormal Experienced Radio. Broadcasting live out of Birmingham, Alabama.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army. Army officers say the missile, found sometime last week, has been inspected at Roswell, New Mexico, and sent to Wright Field, Ohio, for further inspection.
Now, historic films made in the spring of 1948 and just released show Eniwetok preparing for heavily guarded and still largely secret tests of new atomic weapons. The test's purpose is to measure atomic effects on thousands of different materials, 30,000 tons of them, not, as at Bikini, to prove military effectiveness.
San Francisco police say that 9 persons have been arrested in a narcotics raid on the headquarters of the Grateful Dead, a widely popular singing group. 2 members of the group, Rod McKernan and Robert Weir, and their business manager, Danny Rifkin, have been booked on suspicion of possessing narcotics.
3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11. Tower cleared.
We got a roll program. Neil Armstrong reporting the roll and pitch program, which puts Apollo 11 on a proper heading.
I'm going to step off the limb now. That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Well, strange lights are causing a viral buzz on YouTube. Could we have caught extraterrestrial activity on a recent newscast? Brandon Arroyo investigates.
As the newscast ended, the controversy began back on September 26th. What is that light shining in the back of the dark night sky?
With coverage reaching all the way back to 1948, for over 70 years, Fate magazine has brought you reports of the strange and unknown, all of them true. Now, Fate Magazine Radio is carrying on that tradition of setting the standard in paranormal talk radio as we report and discuss some of the most mysterious and perplexing phenomena imaginable in this strange world of ours. Now, here is your host of Fate Magazine Radio, Kat Hobson.
Good evening. Welcome to WBHM Digital Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama. You are listening to Fate Mag Radio, the online voice of Fate Magazine. And I am Kat Hobson. I guess that makes me the voice of Fate, right? I am so glad to have y'all here because we have got a very different and interesting show for you tonight. I have come across someone that I just think the world of. She is interesting. She is different. She is absolutely one of the best people that I've talked to in a long time. We had a great time. We talked for a brief period. I had been aware of her books. I had checked her out. We actually met through LinkedIn, and I'm so glad we did. Now, Orly Amor, I'm going to get this name wrong. Orly Amor is an author. She is a public speaker. She is a mentor. She is an attorney. Well, yeah, she is an attorney and an MBA because, you can't have enough letters after your name. Just kidding. I am so proud of her because that is such a neat thing to be able to do. She has started so many businesses, and they all seem to just keep on running and running and running. She is someone who you will find, I would not be surprised to find her in the who's who of New York businesswomen if she's not already there. She is just a fabulous person and a dynamo. Did I mention she's a dynamo? So I am leaving a lot of stuff out, but I do know that if you've heard anything or seen anything I've put out this week, you know that she's an internationally known speaker. She actually is a business coach, and she works with public speakers. She's a mentor to people that are trying to learn how to do that. And she's written books. You'll find her on Amazon. She has an author page, which is posted in the event. She writes to share the knowledge, and her website is also full of blogging and just all the information that you could possibly want without going and sitting in her living room and talking with her, I think. And I'm going to tell you that Orly is somebody that 15 minutes into our conversation, I knew that this was someone that I was supposed to be connected to. You know how the universe works like that. And going long through her history, I found a little something posted about angel messages, but that was many, many moons ago. I'm still going to ask her about it. Orly, are you ready for this?
I am. I am.
Because
that's sweet.
You know, that sounds like a big, big build-up, but it really is just all fact.
Thank you. You're so sweet.
Well, you're welcome, but I had nothing to do with it. You're the one that did all that legwork. And the studying and the sweating, trying to get your first events put together, and, you know, all of the things. You have just done a fantastic job. And you've actually, you started in another field doing this, and you just kept going. Why don't you tell people a little bit about how you got started with that?
With property management, what I did before?
Well,
where would you like me to start?
Property management is when you started setting up your groups with your health and wellness network.
Oh, no. Oh, wow. So, no, this goes back to a long time ago. So I will start with, I was in property management for 25 years, and that's between Canada and Florida. And at one point or another, one of my friends asked me to speak at a women's shelter. And that's really where my journey began into self-development. And my self-development for my end of it started way, way, way before that. But I would say that my realization of sharing my story and doing something else with my life was a pivotal point at that women's shelter. That's when I spoke at that women's shelter. Mm-hmm. So I don't know which part you want me to get into, but you go ahead and tell me, and I'll start with that.
Well, you know, I really think that everything that you have done has put you in the position that you're in now. Mm-hmm. And you're beautifully poised, I might say, to make an even stronger difference in the world that you're seeing. Mm. You know, we have so much going on right now that is just overwhelming. There are people that don't know, you know, how they're going to manage to make their world a better place for them once we're coming out of the backside of this pandemic.
Right.
And so I think that is something that a lot of people are going to be fascinated by, because just really, you are so good at getting people to see the best in themselves.
And you know what? Yeah, that's a very good point. And I'll tell you this. I was not going to share my personal story back then. because I felt shame, and I think a lot of people right now are feeling shame because either they lost their job or they're losing their credit because they're not paying their bills, but they can't. They really are in a bind. And I know what that feels like. And I would say that it got me thinking, what can I do with what I have? So now I'll go backwards and say, I did not want to share my story. And my friend asked me to speak. And my friend asked me to speak at this women's shelter, but then I said, what do you want me to speak about? There's so many people out there that speak, first of all, about the subject matter. And two is like, why me, right? I didn't really give it that much importance because everybody has a story. I always felt like, you know what? I have my story. You have your story. Everybody has a story that, at their own expense of hurt and drama, if you will. And it's not really drama in the sense of boo-hoo, woe is me. It's more like, oh my God, I'm going through this and I don't know who to talk to. And I decided to accept her challenge to go to this women's shelter. But by the way, she was very persistent. She called every single day for 3 weeks asking me if I would speak. And finally I said, okay, here's what I want you to tell me. Why me? Because there's others that speak about this subject. And she said, oh my God, Orly, you're living the life that most people dream about. You are such a bubbly personality. You go out there and, oh my gosh, everybody hugs you. And I'm like, okay, calm down. I said, okay, what do I have to do to get you off my phone? And she said, well, I want you to speak at this shelter. And if you don't say yes, I'm going to continue calling. And I'm like, okay.
I'm saying
sounds
yes.
Good. I'm going to say yes because I need you to get off my phone. I'm sure we all had one of those persistent friends about one thing or another. And when I spoke 3 months later, I hired a coach because I didn't know how to tell my story. And I'll share my story with you in a minute. But 3 months later, I'm at this shelter and here I am speaking in front of 170 people, well, give or take, between the attendees and the staff. And when I got off that stage, and I've been speaking for a while in property management, that's why I mentioned property management, because for 25 years I was in property management. I wrote 2 books on the subject matter. I was well known in Canada. I was well known in Florida. I traveled the country speaking about the subject matter. So for me to come and give a motivational speech was very foreign, It very much felt like a new language. And so I'm here.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was scary too. And I know what people are feeling about public speaking. Usually people are afraid of public speaking more than they are afraid of death. Anyway, but it's a true statement. And so I decided to hire a coach because I didn't know how I was going to do it. I don't know how to tell my own story, and I never wanted to begin with. So here I am telling my story, and after I was done speaking, there was not one eye dry in the place. Not one. And when I got off the stage, something very weird happened to me because I was used to speaking all around the country. This never happened to me, where people came to me and said, thank you for sharing. Thank you for giving us hope. Thank you. And big hugs and tears. And it was just overwhelming. I want you to imagine that this was my first motivational speech, even though I've been to all these seminars with Tony Robbins, Deepak Chopra, all these guys for years for my own growth. And now giving one of my own was really weird. Anyway, so I got off the stage and this was happening. And then this one lady came up to me and she was crying profusely. Like we couldn't calm her down. She was hyperventilating. And she came to me and she's like, oh, thank you so much. You don't understand. And I said, no, I do understand, sweetie. Just calm down. She's like, no, you don't understand. I said, yes, I do. Please just breathe. And back and forth we went until she yelled at me. Literally said, no, you don't understand. And boy, was I taken aback. I'm having goosebumps telling you this because it was so shocking. And she took a piece of paper out of her pocket and she showed it to me. And she said, and she pointed with her index finger saying, you see here, this is how I was going to kill myself this morning. In fact, I don't even remember the drive from my house to the shelter. Because see, this is not where I was going, showing me at the top of the page. And but I heard you speak, and I want to live. I just need you to show me how. And oh my God, I got to tell you, Kat, I couldn't hold it anymore. I was crying. People around me were crying. There was no way I could hold it together. This Niagara Falls came out of my face. It was really, because yeah, it's just that in my head was not something like, oh, wow, this is cool. No, I was like, oh my God, I just saved somebody's life. And
that's so huge.
I know. And that's why I tell people to share their story. They just never know whose life they're going to change. And I'm going to share my story with you within 18 seconds so we can move this along. But, I know it's just like a lot of people say, well, why do you say 18 seconds? It's because we don't need to spend more time on what's been going on. There are people out there that are struggling now more than I ever did. But I was a beaten up child. I was molested 4 times before the age of 14. I was raped 3 times before the age of 22, twice gang raped, 9 months apart, left for dead. I was married to a very abusive husband, both mentally and physically. And as a result of that, I had 4 abortions and I gained a morbid amount of weight. I was 428 pounds at my heaviest. So as today, I lost 200 and some pounds. A little bit more to lose. Need to lose a little more, but we're working on it.
It's a process.
It's a process, not perfection, exactly, So I won't tell you about the cheesecake I had today. So I'm just kidding. But in all seriousness, this story of mine was not it. There were many more stories like it, that of robbery, of people stealing from me, of business failures, of partners that have stole from me. So there's so much more. But, our resiliency is always very fascinating to me. And that's why I created the Mindset Mastery Program, to help people get over traumatic experiences and not to dwell in there, because the more you dwell in there, the harder it is to come out. The only thing you want is to have the willingness to be better, to have a better life. It's not easy. Much easier said than done, that's for sure.
Absolutely, it is.
Yeah. But you know what? Humans are very resilient. And it's very funny how much, and I'm not talking funny, it's very interesting how much pain we can endure. I can tell you that I've wished to die so many times during what happened to me. And then again, find the resiliency to get up and walk, to get up and do is not easy. Nobody said it was. It's just that it's that commitment, that determination to get rid of the victim bag, and to say, no, I'm not going to take it anymore. I have enough. Tony Robbins calls it leverage. Enough is enough. I don't want this anymore. And even in our times today, with everything going on, I've been refusing to listen to the news. I've been refusing to listening to more and more negative stuff, because as I was not listening to that, my business has been doing great. So that means that there is still, there are 6 billion people on this planet that are not in mourning. We all have to go through something. Yes, but our resiliency and our determination to get out of our own way is what's going to get us through. And I'm not saying it's not sad to lose somebody. I lost 4 people to this virus, and I get it. I really do. But I can't do anything for them now. I just need to, forge ahead and look at the next step.
Yes. I do want to let people know, if they don't already, that Orly actually lives in Brooklyn.
New York.
She is in New York City.
Yeah.
And so she has been living basically in what I would consider, just based on what we do see. I try not to watch it also. I have other dear friends who are up there and other potential, not potential, other hot spots. Mm. And it just is, I can't imagine living through that. You're basically, from what the media says, in a war zone. And I will tell you that I know that that's hyped up, but I also know that I actually saw imagery from Times Square, from Central Park, from, down at everywhere that I love there, and with no people. I mean, no people. And that, more than anything else, struck me with how serious this is in that area. I could never imagine something locking New York down.
Yeah, well, it's, thank God New Yorkers were listening, because New Yorkers are very skeptical. They're skeptical. They're skeptics in nature, and that's okay. And then there is the fact that they don't want to be told what to do. That's another behavior that New Yorkers have. But they are very resilient. So they also have a lot of common sense, which is, okay, the short-term sacrifice for the long-term reward. If we stay inside, we're going to save ourselves and others and people we love, and we can come out on top.
Yes.
And this is really what happened. But this needs to be for everybody, for any behavior out there, right? I mean, it's the short-term sacrifice for the long-term reward. It also has given us the positive side of things.
Yes.
One is that more people are at home. They can learn something new. They can catch up on their reading. They can catch up on studies. They can catch up on a lot of things. They can find other ways to make money, to be innovative, to change their mindset from employee to entrepreneur, and maybe never go back to work. There's the part.
I'm going to interrupt you.
Yes.
Because we have to take a break.
Yes.
And we will be right back on the flip side of this. And you know what? I'm seeing that mindset, that shift from employee to entrepreneur happening. So we'll talk more about that when we come back.
Yay.
You are listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, Birmingham, Alabama.
Oh, come on. I'm Southern, but... Nope. That'll do. Hello. I am Kat Hobson, host of Paranormal Experience here on WBHM Digital Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama. I enjoy having guests from all areas of the paranormal, from ghosts to ufology to cryptids and beyond. You'll find some of the best researchers in their fields bringing you some great information. Join me on Wednesday nights from 8 to 10 p. Eastern here on WBHM Digital Broadcasting.
You are listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, the best in paranormal talk radio.
Listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, the best in paranormal talk, only on Paranormal Experienced Radio, broadcasting live out of Birmingham, Alabama.
Since 1948, Fate magazine has brought you reports of the strange and unknown, all of them true. Fate Radio is carrying on that tradition, bringing you the unusual, macabre, strange, and bizarre. Join host Kat Hobson Sunday nights from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern on WBHM Digital Broadcasting. You are listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, the best in paranormal talk, only on Paranormal Experience Radio, broadcasting live out of Birmingham, Alabama.
The time is 23 minutes after the hour. Welcome back to Fate Mag Radio, and I have to tell you that I am having such a fantastic conversation with my friend Orly. And, you know, you come across those people, right, that fate has just put in your path. It's almost as if, you know, you're following your soul contract. When you run into each other, you just recognize the energy, and it's either very positive or very negative. I've only done the negative once or twice, but the positive, when you run into it, it just fills you, and it makes you so pleased that you had enough patience, right? And you were in the right place, and things happen the way they're supposed to. And I feel that happened with us, Orly.
Yeah.
So I'm really pleased about that. Now, I interrupted you as we were going to break, and I apologize for that. We were talking about the resilience of New Yorkers. And you had said something when we started talking about the difference, of the strength of New Yorkers and their discipline and recognizing things to be a certain way. You don't see New York rebelling and, you know, having a fit in the streets or whatever. And I am a libertarian. I'm a constitutionalist. I do understand the importance of every one of our Bill of Rights, because they're not suggestions, they're considered God-given rights. But you also have to have with those rights goes a great deal of responsibility.
Exactly.
And that includes taking care of yourself, your family, your community, and your nation. And all of the rebelling that we've seen around the rest of the country starting to spring up, there hasn't been a bit of that in New York City.
Well, there has. It's just that, it's not, instead of rebelling and going out there and protesting, some people just don't listen. They're going to go to the beach. They're going to go outside, and they need to go to the store. They need to go to the pharmacy. They still need to do certain things. And I just feel that, human beings are responsible enough. I feel that that's really where this is where the rubber meets the road, The thing is, if people know what they need to be doing, they should just do it. And I think the government is really trying to, whether local or national, it's still, everybody's trying to control everybody. And as human beings, we're not robots. We do understand common sense. We have to take responsibility. When we have a cold or when we have the flu, we don't go into work. Why is that? Not because we're weak, because we don't want to get everybody else infected, because we don't want other people to get sick. That's why we don't go in. We can work from home today, but that's why we don't.
Couldn't back in the day, and I had an old woman that worked across the desk from me who kept giving me the flu.
Oh God!
It was a cold. She always had a cold, and we didn't even have a barrier between us, so that was fun.
I'm sure
not.
I know. Here's the thing. Right now, what's going on is that everybody is home, and those who had a book to write in mind, they should start writing it. Those who had a skill set that they wanted to learn, this is the perfect time, so that we can, not only when we come out of this, we can be stronger, wiser, a little more educated, whatever it is that we need. I know that I've taken a couple of classes, because I was really not into webinars, and now I'm learning how to do webinars. I've done so many so far. It's hysterical to me, because if you would have told me a few months ago that I'm going to be doing webinars, I would have laughed at you, because social media and all that stuff is really not my forte at all.
It was not.
It was not. It was not. Now. That's right. It is not my forte still. It's just something I have to do. It's the, better off with the devil than the one you don't. You gotta do what you gotta do. But I was talking about, before the break, I was talking also about, the mindset shift from being an employee to being an entrepreneur, because that's great opportunity right now. If anybody wanted to be innovative or had a dream or even a hobby that they absolutely love, that they would do for free if they had all the money in the world, why not teach it? Why not create some kind of following to help other people do just that hobby? Isn't that cool? So I think that people have talents that they should be sharing, just like people have stories that they should be sharing. So not everybody is made for public speaking, for example, but there's nothing that stops people from sharing their talents, God-given talents.
Well, you're right, except for fear.
For fear. So fear, what everybody knows that fear is, fictional elements appearing real. But there's two ways: you can fear and run, or you can or you can find a way to ride. You can go and make this something. The fear is only temporary. And that's why I wanted to share this parable of, this too shall pass. Those are 4 words that people need to remember. This too shall pass. Everything in life is not forever. Not love, not hate, not friendships, not money. Nothing is forever. And the parable goes that this king asked his sages to create a message to put under his ring, to pass on to his heirs as a memento, as a lesson. And this king, with time, the sages could not find it, but he decided to speak to one of his servants. He was complaining to his servant that the sages of his kingdom did not find the message the short message to put under the diamond on the ring. And finally, his servant said, well, I've been with the kingdom for a long time. A certain mystic told me these 4 words, and those are the ones that I wrote into a little piece of paper, and you can put it under the diamond. And so the king listened to him, and the words were, this too shall pass. And he told the king, if you're ever faced in the moment of despair, in the moment of giving up, I want you to read this message. So a while afterwards, the king was faced with a war, and he had to flee his kingdom. And the enemies were chasing him, were running after him. And he got into this cliff where if he went over the cliff, it would be the end of it. So he remembered the ring, and he took it out, and the message said, this too shall pass. And as soon as he said it, somehow, some way, the enemies were no longer in sight. He couldn't even hear them. So he went back to the kingdom. He celebrated with his people, and he was all happy, and he did a feast, and everybody was celebrating. The servant reminded him, this too shall pass. And never to forget those words. He realized that that's true. You know what? The good and the bad go away. So we need to plan. We need to become innovative. And that's the magic of humanity, is that we have that within us to find a way. As soon as we ask that question to the universe, to God, we can find the answer if we are willing to listen. And that's why resiliency is so important, but innovation is so important as well at the same time, right now, in this moment in time. I don't know if this made sense, but I think I did.
It makes beautiful sense. I was kind of, it really touches because I'm kind of in transition, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I talk for my job. I talk, at least 8 hours a week, and that's just on things that I do. Mm-hmm. So, and I write, and I do pictures, and I do promotional things for people. I have, the promotional things are new, and thank you for being so complimentary, but I'm actually very excited that that's starting to be something I do besides just for my guests, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, it's amazing.
Thank you. But it works even better when you have somebody that you like a lot and respect that you're doing it for, and you know that their work is outstanding.
Thank you.
I am just agreeing with you all the way through this. It's I have been through not as much as you. Okay. It's not a competition.
Exactly.
But I mean, that's not one you want to win. If you were.
No.
But it truly is something that has defeated many a human. Lesser things have defeated many a human. Mine did not defeat me. Yours obviously did not defeat you. You know, this too shall pass. You make it through by mindset, by conscious choice, and by sometimes getting lucky enough to find someone who believes in you when you don't believe in yourself. And that guides you. So when you started trying to make your way, coming out of that very dangerous and bad time of your life, you don't look back on those now because that's history and nobody wants to repeat history. So how did you, coming from that, I know that you realized you had to have change. I know that all of these things, but taking that knowledge and making it a definitive step. What was your definitive step? What was your definitive crosswalk, as it were, to come from being the person that these things had happened to that were beyond your control, obviously, and becoming a woman who was not going to have it anymore and taking charge and caring for yourself to the point that you were able to rise up?
Well, I read the books. I listened to tapes. I've traveled the world following Tony Robbins and those guys around. I became a groupie. And I laugh at that because
I laughed when you told me that.
Yeah, it's a cute story, right? I mean, I was in San Diego at a Tony Robbins event, and I always meet amazing people at these events. And 10 days later, I was in Paris, France at a Tony Robbins event, and I walk into the auditorium, and I see the same people I saw 10 days ago in San Diego. And the first thought that came into my head is, what the heck are they doing here? And the second thought was, what the heck are you doing here? Didn't you get the memo? So that taught me that at one point, and I went back to Florida because that's where I was living at the time. And I was very, I was talking to myself the whole time back home. I was saying, how did you not see this? You've already been through everything. You read everything. You're pretty much ahead of the game. So what now? What's next, right? And what I didn't see, though, is how much I have grown. And you can grow as you go. Does that make sense?
It totally makes sense. It's sometimes how you have to do it.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying to people today. That was my shift. My shift was, how much more do you want to learn before you do something about it? It's about implementation. So it's great to learn and great for your audience to be listening to us. And I hope that's something that they take from today, that they just implemented, just that one thing. It doesn't have to be 100 things, but it could be. I'm saying, take one thing, implement it into your life today. And I know just for that one thing, you will grow somehow, some way. Something will shift in your mind. And this brings me to tell you that in the beginning of 2010, I told my business coach that I would like to impact the lives of 200 million people by 2025. And we kind of had to argue about a certain thing. But for me, it was 10 to 20 years. Then he asked me to pick a date. So finally, I came up with the 24th of April, 2025. And he said, why the 24th of April? I know he was probably expecting 1st of January, 2025. But I said, no. I said, that's my birthday, and we're going to celebrate two things. So anyway.
So you're well on your way to that number.
I am actually. And I'll share that number with you where we're at right now. It's pretty interesting actually how things develop. And here's why. Because through my learnings, one of my teachers, if you will, not necessarily personally, but I do know him personally, Les Brown says, the how is not your business. You need to put it out there. Your dream needs to be bigger than you and scare you so much. When your dream scares you so much, you know it's the right one, because you will fight to get there. So 200 million, can you imagine? I don't know, I know why I said 200 million. Many people ask me that question, and I'll tell you. But anyways, the how is not your business. That's what Les Brown says. And I've been living with that mantra for a very long time. And then another person, which is Sir Richard Branson, everybody knows, with Virgin Airlines, Virgin everything. He basically says, yeah, it's hysterical.
Virgin everything. I love that.
Virgin everything. He has everything Virgin. It's amazing. So, and now he's going to have Virgin Cruise Line. I mean, Virgin everything. Exactly. So I remember what he says is like, when an opportunity knocks, say yes and figure it out later. Yes. So right now, what the ideas I'm sharing and so on may be opportunities for people to actually do something with it. So say yes and figure it out. Because that's really the actual answer to my success, is that every time an opportunity knocked, I said yes, even when I didn't know how it's going to turn out, how I'm going to do it, nothing. So having said that, a few months later, in June of 2010, I was speaking all over the world already. I'm a certified behavior analyst. I used to go into corporations and teach their salespeople how to close the deal 98% of the time through reading people, body language, human ego state, and personality types. And I had a blast, I can tell you that. And in June of 2000... I've
seen the pictures. I know you did.
And thank you. And in June, and it's amazing because the pictures you have in there, I forgot all about. I mean, I was looking at them. I'm like, where did you find those pictures? Anyway,
I'm good.
I think you're very good. Very good. Good is not enough. It does not describe it. And in June of 2010, I'm in Arlington, Texas, speaking at a beautiful conference, a business conference. And in the break room for speakers, I'm just standing there minding my own business. These three guys come over to me. They're speakers as well, of course. And so they're coming to me and saying, hey, aren't you Orly Amor? And I looked at them. I was like, yeah, do I know you? I'm sorry. I don't remember. And one of them says, well, no, we've never met really officially, but we've seen you on the circuit. I said, oh, okay. And in my head, I was like, well, I wonder what circuit, because I don't speak on general conferences. Most of the time I speak in corporations. I said, all right, that's fine. So we started networking and just getting to know each other. And at one point, one of them felt, I guess, comfortable enough to say, I'm just curious. How did you get this gig? I said, well, I don't know. I called. I told them what I speak about, and they paid me, and I'm here. And they all looked at me like if I had three heads. You got paid? And I said, oh, no. In my head, I felt so bad. I said, why, you guys didn't? They're like, no, we got our expenses paid, but we didn't get paid. I said, oh, no, I got paid and I got my expenses paid. And now they're like, well, we want to know how you did that. And I said, jokingly, I said, well, if I'm going to tell you, I'm going to have to charge you. But I was just kidding. And just before I could say just kidding, they all looked at me and said, okay, just name your price. And in my head, I was like, what just happened? Oh, my God. What happened? And
you spoke your truth. You spoke their truth.
Yeah. And I went home and I'm still thinking about this whole conversation when, we exchanged cards and so on. I went home and I'm like, I'm wondering what's the problem in this industry? I think there is a problem. They don't know how to do this business. I've always made good money with this business. Let's see what I do that is so special. And so I wrote it all down and I came up with a name for it called Business in a Box for Public Speakers. Mm-hmm. And then I called a few of my friends who used to laugh at me when I told them that the average speaker should be making $150,000 a year, like minimum wage in public speaking. And they used to laugh at me. What? Are you crazy? You're out of your mind, la, la, la. And I said, okay, well, you guys do you and I'll do me. And I was tripling that when I was saying it. So now I'm thinking, well, the Business in a Box for Public Speakers should help anyone who wants to speak and wants to actually work at this can make the money. It's $100 billion a year industry, 64,000 events a day in America pay speakers. well, maybe I should teach some of this. So I called those friends who I told you that laughed at me. I called them up and I said, hey guys, I'm thinking of coaching speakers about this business of public speaking. What do you think? They're like, oh my God, Orly, that's amazing. That's like the holy grail. We will hire you. And I in my head, I was, what did you just say? Because a few years ago, you laughed at me. Now you want to hire me? This is very strange.
Well, hang on, because we have to take a really quick break.
Oh, gosh. Okay, good.
We'll be right back.
Suspense. Okay.
You're listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, the best in paranormal talk, only on Paranormal Experience Radio, broadcasting live out of Birmingham, Alabama.
Oh, come on. I'm Southern, but... nope. That'll do. Hello. I am Kat Hobson, host of Paranormal Experience here on WBHM Digital Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama. I enjoy having guests from all areas of the paranormal, from ghosts to ufology to cryptids and beyond. You'll find some of the best researchers in their fields bringing you some great information. Join me on Wednesday nights from 8 to 10 p. Eastern here on WBHM Digital Broadcasting.
Since 1948, Fate magazine has brought you reports of the strange and unknown, all of them true. Fate Radio is carrying on that tradition, bringing you the unusual, macabre, strange, and bizarre. Join host Kat Hobson Sunday nights from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern on WBHM Digital Broadcasting.
Listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, the best in paranormal talk, only on Paranormal Experienced Radio, broadcasting live out of Birmingham, Alabama.
Welcome back to Fate Mag Radio. I'm Kat. I'm your host, with my guest Orly, and we are having the best conversation, and I just stopped her on a dime. We were at the part where your friends that thought it was crazy that somebody was going to pay you for helping them be able to get paid at conferences. All of a sudden, when it was a deal, wanted to pay you.
Yes, that was very
hilarious.
Right? It is hilarious. And so one of them said to me, hey, Orly, you know, your mission, your personal mission to impact 200 million people by 2025, how about that is a great idea. If you coach speakers or people who just want to get their message out there, if you coach them to impact more lives, and who cares how much money they make? There's plenty of money to make. But what if they told you how many people they're impacting and how many they're connected to on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, also all that stuff? What if you calculated all that together? That'll help you to get to 200 million pretty quickly. And I said, oh my God, I should do it. That's a great idea, because how else would I calculate it? And so now we're like, I think at 103 million or something like that. But again, the how was not my business, right? And then I said yes. So I called back these three guys from Arlington that I met in Arlington. And I said, hey guys, listen, I just created the business in a box for public speakers. And I'm going to guarantee you at least that you'll make $150,000 your first year in public speaking. So they all said, well, how do you guarantee that? Nobody guarantees anything. And I said, well, you're right. But if you do exactly what I tell you and I position you in this industry, then there's no doubt in my mind you will make it if you do the work. Are you willing to do the work? And they all asked me the same question. Well, how much work is involved? Right? I mean,
that was a great voice.
I'm sorry. It's just, you know what, why I make that voice? When I say this story, I always make that voice because you got to be willing. You got to be willing to sacrifice a little bit of your time and money to be able to make it. If you were going to open a store, it's going to cost you. Even before you set one foot into that store, it's going to cost you.
Absolutely. You have to get it set up.
You got to set it up.
In the store.
Exactly. Who cares what you're selling? Because before you have any product in that store, you need the minimum, And so I always give that analogy. So at the end of the day, how much time is involved? Who cares if it's going to mean my success? If I'm going to make the money, why would it matter how much time I'm going to put into it? If I believe in something so wholeheartedly, I should not worry about time. And so I told them that it will take a minimum of an hour to 2 a day. And if they don't have it, well, goodbye. It was nice knowing you. And that's because I just believe that at the minimum, you should give an hour or 2 a day to your business. Everything else can take your time, but this is easy to give. And I said to them, I don't care if you give it at 5 o'clock in the morning or at 11 o'clock at night. This is not my business. It's your business. You put the kids to bed and you start working on your business, whatever it takes. And I'll tell you another story about that.
An hour is not much.
No, it's not. It goes by really quickly, wouldn't you say? And when I show you how you spend it, you don't even see it go by. It's just like, whoop, it's gone. It's amazing. So if you don't, if you do all the work that I tell you, and at the end you did not make $150,000 minimum, I'll work with you until you do. There's no way you're not making it in the first year. That's minimum wage, just like working for McDonald's. And if you're overqualified to work for McDonald's, then you can do public speaking. And you don't have to be a public speaker like a keynote. You don't have to go on a big stage. You can do very nice little workshops and 20 people, 30 people, easier, faster, more paying than the big thing. Unbelievable, but true.
Well, and, one of the things that I noticed when I started researching you is that on your webpage, you have all kinds of information. If you are somebody who is wanting to do this, you can check out and already have gotten information and be familiar with your methods and ideas. You can read the books. I mean, out of the box does not have to be an investment.
Right.
Other than in time and the money for the books. Yep. And then when you start seeing that there is something, if it's of value to you, then you're available for that. But you're already putting out methods without having, having to do a lot of outlay and a lot of actual work. If the work is going to bother them, there's other things. You've provided information. Right. And when I spoke with you personally, voice to voice, I was just so impressed. Because you're just that person that you want people to succeed. You want everyone to succeed.
Yeah.
And I think that's just so nice because it's so often just, this is going to sound patty. I don't mean it to be patty. But there's so much of the me, me, me. What do you have for me? What are you going to do for me? And you don't bring that.
Yeah.
You're wanting to help people succeed and do what for some, it's a lifelong dream.
Yeah. Like publishing a book, I own a publishing house, and I don't even tell people about it normally. I own a few businesses, and I know we're going to probably cover a couple of things, but I own a publishing house, and a lot of people, I've been gouged so many times to publish books, and I paid tens of thousands of dollars, and it's not necessary. It's not necessary. Yes, you got to pay a little bit, but it'll get you so much exposure. At the end of the day, you really don't need even a book to be a public speaker. You don't need a book. You don't need a website. You don't need certain things. And a lot of people out there are selling that as you must. It's a must. And that's scary to people because they're like, oh my God, I better wait till I have a website, till I have a book, till I have more social media following. They're scaring people into thinking that this is what they need before they get this public speaking. And many of those people out there extremely good marketers. That's what they're selling. Their marketing is good. but they've never done it themselves. They pay for it with the money they're getting from you.
Yes.
And that's what so people are intelligent now. They need to research. That's why so many things are free. But when they're free, it's a hook. You know what I mean? It's a hook to get you to buy something else. So I don't do anything for free. I do my webinars for free. Anything else is not. Why is that? Because my knowledge and the same thing as you. Exactly, but everybody that's listening right now, whatever they've been through, I don't know how old you are, I don't know where you've been, what you've been through, worse than me, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because it's not a competition. But the wisdom you've acquired throughout the years, you paid for it with education money, you paid for it with money, with blood, sweat, tears, aggravation, ups, downs, all that emotional background that you had to go through, all that. Why would you give it away? Why would you just give it away? You can be paid for it. And that's my tagline. If you have a message, somebody's willing to pay for it.
Yes.
So, yeah. So needless to say, those 3 guys that I met in Arlington hired me on the spot after giving me a hard time about questioning me. But when after they hired me for the past 3 years, for the past 5 years, 2 of them are making between $300,000 and $400,000 a year, and one of them made $1.2 million in 2017 because they did the work. Some of them didn't even want to travel. Has there been people that have been through my program and did not make 150? Absolutely. But they called me and said, Orly, you know what? I'm tripling what I made before I even met you. So I'm kind of happy where I am. And I'm good with it. I'm not going after you, and you don't need to help me to get to 150. I'm good. I know how to do it. It's just that I don't want to do the work. At least they're honest about it. So innovation is what we are all looking for, and getting out of our own way. So if you're not a public speaker and you don't like to do it virtually, you don't like to do workshops, then do something else. Today, there's so much technology at your disposal for free. YouTube, Zoom, Skype, anything. Use it all. You don't have to choose. That's the cool part. Facebook Live.
It is so cool.
Yeah, so cool.
You know, 5 years ago, I would never have thought that I would be doing this, right? Mm-hmm. It just was something I kind of fell into. And now I'm 5.5 years in, and I have 2 shows, and I'm about to be a co-host on a 3rd, which, believe it or not, is on another network, but I'll have my own producer. I love having a producer.
Yay.
And I don't have an ego that's going to prevent me from doing that, right?
Right.
So, you know, I'm not about ego. I'm about having a good time, and this show is a great one. And, you know, do I want to drive business to my network? Well, yeah, but you don't think people knowing that I own this network is going to, you know, happen when I'm on someone else's? I do guest things all the time.
Of course.
So it's just but this is going to be fun. But anyway, I digress.
No,
it's
awesome
to be able to do something and find out that you love it. And I'm going to tell you, I do love it. I had the worst experience Wednesday night because I was speaking with people who are brilliant in the paranormal field, and every time I spoke, there was someone else speaking. When I quit speaking, they quit speaking. It wasn't my voice, it was a voice. And I was just like, what on earth? I mean, the whole first part of the show was terrible. The second part, I recorded it on my Skype. I didn't know you could record on Skype. So you learn things every day.
Yeah.
But I still loved it because I got to speak to them. I got to learn from them. My listeners got to learn, you know, and they're beautiful people. And I gave them an opportunity to share their information and to spend time discussing what they love. And I just thought it was fun.
It is. And I was laughing because you said it just fell into my lap. And this it's really hysterical because something fell into my lap 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of funny that, we're pretty much on the same timeline.
With our same path. Yeah.
I'm sorry?
With our same path of doing things that we had no idea we were going to love. And by Jingo, it's awesome and it's working. But we have our top of the hour news break coming up.
Okay, go ahead.
So this is a great time if you've got a empty coffee mug or something to go ahead and fill that baby up. Mm-hmm. And we'll be back after this. And you never know. I'm always hoping for a little good news, right? Doesn't always work that way, but you never know. You just keep hoping, right? We'll see you on the flip side of this. And thanks for being here. Y'all come back.
Live from NPR News in Washington, I'm Janine Herbst. Restaurants, parks, and stores reopen tomorrow across much of Florida. As NPR's Joel Rose reports, it's one of several states that are moving to restart their economies this week.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis says his state can bring its economy back to life while also keeping people safe from the coronavirus.
Tomorrow is just one step. It's certainly not the Florida that we had in February, but I think that we obviously want to get to where we're back in the saddle doing a lot of great things.
The first phase of Florida's plan allows restaurants and retail stores to reopen, but only at 25% capacity. South Florida, which has seen the biggest outbreak in the state, is still under a stay-at-home order. Public health experts, though, worry it is still too soon to relax social distancing measures and that a resurgence of the coronavirus is possible. Joel Rose, NPR News.
Senators are due to return to Capitol Hill tomorrow after an extended break, even as Washington remains under a stay-at-home order and coronavirus cases in the city rise. But as NPR's Amy Held reports, it's not clear whether lawmakers have access to adequate testing.
Amid reports that Congress does not have enough testing capacity, the Trump administration offered to send 1,000 coronavirus tests for House and Senate lawmakers. But in a rare joint statement, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell rejected them, saying the resources should go to frontline workers instead. McConnell says the Senate is honoring its constitutional duty by opening back up. On the Senate agenda this week, several hearings on President Trump's nominees. Around half of senators are 65 or older, putting them at greater risk from COVID-19. On the House side, Pelosi has opted to delay the chamber's return. Amy Held, NPR News.
Most airlines currently or will soon require passengers to wear a mask or face covering when they fly, including Atlanta-based Delta Airlines. Maria White-Tillman from member station WABE in Atlanta has more.
The airline says the move is necessary to add an extra layer of protection to customers and employees during the pandemic. Passengers on Delta flights will have to wear a mask or face covering across all of the airline's touch points, including check-in, Delta Sky Clubs, and boarding gates. Face coverings are also required on board the aircraft for the duration of the flight, except for when passengers are eating. The airline will provide masks to those who don't have them. Delta says employees are already required to wear masks at work when they're within 6 feet of other people. For NPR News, I'm Maria White-Tillman in Atlanta.
President Trump holds a virtual town hall from the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. It's scheduled to take place at this hour. It's hosted by Fox News. The topic will be the coronavirus pandemic. You're listening to NPR News from Washington. India is reporting its biggest one-day jump in coronavirus cases. NPR's Lauren Freyer reports the country has been under lockdown for 40 days.
India has counted 2,600 new cases of COVID-19 and 83 deaths in the past 24 hours. That brings the country's totals to more than 28,000 active cases and more than 1,300 deaths overall, though testing has not been widespread. Indian Air Force jets flew over several cities Sunday in a ceremonial gesture and showered flower petals on hospitals below to thank healthcare workers. Meanwhile, a nationwide lockdown has been extended for 2 more weeks. Schools and airports remain closed and most passenger trains halted. India is being divided into red, orange, and green zones according to concentration of coronavirus cases. Lauren Freyer, NPR News.
New York is working together with 6 other states to form a purchasing consortium to buy medical equipment and supplies, hoping to lower prices and get better access to products. Governor Andrew Cuomo says the collaboration will create a regional supply chain for masks, gowns, ventilators, testing supplies, and other equipment that is vital to fighting the disease. The other states involved include Delaware, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. It is unclear how this consortium will distribute the supplies among the states or what the role of the federal government would be. I'm Janine Herbst, and you're listening to NPR News from Washington.
You are listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, Birmingham, Alabama.
Welcome back to WBHM Digital Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama. The time is 5 minutes after the hour. Welcome back to the second hour of Fate Mag Radio. I am Kat Hobson, your voice of fate. You know, we are the online side of Fate magazine, so I love that. Great magazine. New issues are out. If you see me at events, I'll have them. So, go team. Now, I have been having the best time with my guest tonight. She's an internationally known speaker. She is a mentor. She's an entrepreneur, but mainly she is a coach, business, life, and career. And she's just somebody that I like a lot. I have a good time talking to her, and we were just talking about it's made that first hour just whiz right by. So, welcome back, Orly.
Well, thank you so much, and thank you for having me. I'm loving this. I love sharing first and foremost, and I like to impact people's lives. So hopefully your audience is definitely getting at least one or two things out of this. And we were laughing a little earlier because you said that things just fell into your lap, and you took it and you ran with it, and here you are 5 years later. And it made me laugh only because, and I'm not laughing at you, it's because we have something in common.
We do.
And 5 years ago, I was devastated by a friend of mine who I was running a business for, and it was one of those backstabbing things that the carpet was basically just pulled from under me. And I'm sure we all have had this type of experience before. But here's the thing. I was a part of another organization, and then that incident happened, and then I called my girlfriend to tell her about it, and she said, well, why don't you start your own thing? And I'm like, start my own thing? Are you out of your mind? Do you know how much I do in a day? And I said, you know what? All right, here's what I'm going to say. If this opportunity that you're talking about is something I should look into, then why don't I make it a mastermind? I will organize a mastermind in Midtown Manhattan. And New Yorkers, they're pretty much last minute people. I'm going to just have a networking event, but I'm going to call it a mastermind because it's 10 days away from today. Then I know that maybe 10 people will show up. And if 10 people show up, I'll be very happy. And so I put it on Eventbrite, which is a form of ticket sales for events. And I just put it out there. I sent one email to all my people on the same email address. I just copied all of them on it. And I left it alone. So the day before, and the mastermind was supposed to be health, wellness, and business related. So I would bring people from health and wellness sphere and corporate sphere so that they can meet and talk to each other and help each other grow each other's businesses. Because I'm trademarked the Millionaire Connector. So basically, I just love connecting people. And I got frustrated by going to an event. I'm sure you've heard of Chambers of Commerce, and I've been to a few of those here in New York. There's like 3 or 4. And I went to a couple of them and I saw segregation. Health and wellness people on one side, corporate people on the other. They're not talking to each other. And I felt like, oh, well, that's stupid. Sorry. That's just what I said in my head. But
call them as you see them.
Right. And why are they not talking to each other? They're missing out on so much opportunity to help each other grow each other's businesses. So I did this event where I called, I sent out an email, and the day before the event, I had maybe 5 people who registered. So I figured because it's last minute, on the day of the event, the next day, maybe another 5 people will register, plus me. That'll be about 11, 12 people. That'll be perfect. A mastermind should not be any more than that. So here I am at the event, at the venue. I found a restaurant. Basically, they have a downstairs where they do private parties. They gave me that room to host my little event. It's usually a slow night for them, so it was perfect, win-win. And here my girlfriend, Susan, comes from Pennsylvania. And I'm like, what are you doing here? She says, well, I have something else going on tomorrow in New York. And I thought, hey, you know what? I'm here anyway. Let me come and support you. And I'm like, oh, that's very nice of you. Thank you. So now we're just talking and setting up, and she's helping me out. And then all of a sudden, this herd of people come down the stairs. And I'm looking at them, and I'm in shock. First of all, my heart started beating so fast. And I say to them, are you guys here for the birthday party upstairs? They're like, no, we're here for the mastermind. And I'm thinking, oh, my God, help. So now I'm saying, Susan, you got to come here. Please help me. Sit down. You do registration. Here are the people that signed up online. That's all I know. If they paid online, you let them show you that they have the ticket. I am going to go and introduce people and fix this room differently because now there's more people. Well, Kat, 62 people showed up.
Isn't that amazing how you identified that need?
Well, not yet, because at that point, I was just thinking of the mastermind. I was not
just trying to get through the moment. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. So it was really weird for me. And so I'm running like a chicken with no head, and I'm introducing people and like, oh, hi, what's your name? What do you do? Okay, here, you need to meet so-and-so. And then we put them together. Okay, you guys have a chat. I'll be back. And then here I am running like a chicken with no head. Hostess with the mostess, right? Trying anyway, right? And at one point I figured, okay, there's no way to do a mastermind with these people because I'm not prepared. And so I'm just going to have it as a networking event, but I'm going to have everybody sit down and introduce themselves because at this point I've lost my voice halfway. So now everybody sits down and I say this, hi guys, my name is Orly Amor. I am basically the organizer of this event. And really, I know you expected a mastermind, but right now, because there's so many of you, why don't we just go around the room? You have 30 seconds. What's your name? What do you do? How can we support you right now? And what's your passion? Why do you do what you do? You have 30 seconds. You got to go around the room, and please don't look at your phones because I want you to listen to each other, because afterwards, when we go back to networking event, you're going to see the energy in this room is going to go through the roof. And so here we are going around the room. And me, after everybody got to introduce themselves, I said, I wanted to create a platform for health and wellness professionals, practitioners, service product providers to network with corporate professionals while providing a sustainable system for both. That's actually now the mission statement. And so I called it the Health and Wellness Network of Commerce instead of Chamber of Commerce because it's too political to do Chamber of Commerce. So I said Network of Commerce. And now, okay, it's open. Now it's open for discussion. It's open for an open networking, right? Everybody gets up, and Kat, you could not hear yourself think, well, all this energy in this room is going berserk. And here I am on the sideline with Susan, my girlfriend, and we're just talking when this one lady comes up to me and says, excuse me, can I start a group like this in Brooklyn? And I said, I will think about it and let you know. How's that? And she's like, okay. And then another person comes up to me and says, excuse me, can I start a group like this in Westchester? And I'm geographically a little stupid. I said, where is Westchester? And for those of you who know New York, it's not really far. It's like a half-hour drive up.
It's basically a bedroom community, yeah.
Exactly. I was like, okay, I don't know where Westchester is. Okay. Anyway, and then my girlfriend says, well, how about I start a group like this for you? This is exactly her words, in Punxsutawney. And I'm like, Punxsutawney? Does that even exist? And she says, yes, it exists. And I said, isn't that like, Groundhog Day, Phil? And she's like, yeah, Phil is a real groundhog. And this event really happens in Punxsutawney. And I'm like, oh my God, I thought it was just in the movie. I never knew. And now she's like, I can start a group like this for you in Punxsutawney. And I said, well, first of all, I don't know what you're talking about because I have no clue of what this is going to be.
We have to figure this out.
I know. And again comes my mantra of saying, when the opportunity knocks, say yes, figure it out later. Mm-hmm. And, I have an MBA and a law degree, as you mentioned earlier. So I go home and I'm thinking, maybe there is a need for this, but how do I duplicate it? I need to create a business model that will be a win-win-win. And guess what? After I came up with it, a month later, we were in 3 countries and 3 states. Today, we are in 6 countries, 14 states. I think we're opening 2 more, and we have about 45 chapters around the world.
Isn't that amazing? I think that's
crazy.
Wonderful.
It's crazy. But again, another part of impacting people's lives. Remember, my 200 million, I didn't know how it was going to happen, how I was going to do it. Yes, I go out there, I speak, I go and write books. I do all these little things, but look at all the opportunities that just open up with the how when I never would have thought about it.
I think that's astounding, and I think it's hilarious. Because I can just envision the whole, that first 10, 15 minutes of trying to get everybody situated. And you're so bubbly and vivacious, and yet you're and we have to handle this mode, right?
Right.
I just think that's fantastic.
Yes, it's fight or flight sometimes, right? And we figure it out. And here again, that too did pass. All this came to pass, and an opportunity created itself where you just have to say yes and see how you can make it happen. Now, here's the thing. I could have also given up. There has been challenging times with this,
sure, but
I didn't give up because I might have had something else to learn. Giving up is the easy way out. I could have said, you know what, this thing is not working. Might as well just give it up because I don't have the strength or the energy or whatever. But I stuck it through. And here's what happened very lately, actually. And you would think with this pandemic and everybody freaking out about the economy, I got an investor to invest in my platform, $100,000 came out of the blue. I don't have that money, not sitting anywhere, right? Here's what happened. My girlfriend, who has a technology that helps membership sites and chambers of commerce, that kind of stuff, she calls me up. She's like, we got an investor of $1 million who is willing to give the licensing to this technology to 10 people. And you can see that we have been charging people, bigger companies, $100,000 for the licensing. But we're going to give it to you. I'm choosing one of them to. And I'm thinking, how did this even happen? If you would have told me this, again, 5 years ago when I started the network, I would have said to you, well, I don't know how I'm going to do it. I don't know. I got somebody to do a website. They took a lot of money from me. Then I found another group to do my website, and they took very little money from me, but did an amazing job. And we've been doing events like health and wellness expos and trade shows, and just amazing. It's been now we're doing 30 a year. Now we're going to be doing the largest virtual global health, wellness, and business expo in history online. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's just crazy stuff. But I didn't know.
You just said, yeah, let's do this.
Yeah, whatever.
And look at all the things that have happened.
It's amazing. It's really, really astounding. And it's not luck, people. I mean, I really want your audience to understand this is not luck. This is putting your heart where your passion is.
Yes.
If it's about helping people, if this is what your passion is, helping people, or single moms or single women, or just, stay-at-home mom, or mom solopreneurs. I'm just giving you examples. It could be anything, or stay-at-home dads, whatever. The point here is that if that's your passion, follow it. The money will come. The money is always there. but don't live in scarcity and lack. So, and let things happen for you. Do the work. Yeah. Go study. Do what you need to do to make it happen. But don't give up on it. That's the worst thing you could do. And do what you love, because then you'll be willing to do it forever.
Absolutely. And at that note, we are going to go take our first break of this hour, and we will be back.
Yay!
Yay, I know, right? This is fun. We will be back, and y'all just hang out with us and come back too.
You are listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, Birmingham, Alabama.
Thank you for listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama. The time is 23 minutes after the hour.
Awesome.
You're talking about follow the passion and the money will come. But you also have to position yourself to take advantage of those moments.
Yes, and I think that it's more believe in yourself. Because if you don't believe in yourself, nobody else does.
That's the truth.
We always look for outside gratification or worthiness. And that's been my thing. I don't listen to anyone. I just don't. I'm like, okay, let me do it my way. And if I fail, I fail. I'll learn from my failure. And have I lost the money? I have lost so much money. I could feed the United States for a week. I mean, I've lost so much money. It's unbelievable.
Well, it's
but
it's a yin and a yang, right?
Right. And I had to, because that was like basically the school of hard knocks. I had to pay for it. Just like I paid for my JD, I paid for my MBA. And by the way, completely debt free on that. Did I get into
congratulations.
Debt? And I mean, because I worked 3 jobs to get it. Nobody was going to give me anything. I couldn't get a scholarship. I couldn't get a loan. I couldn't get many things when I started when I wanted this. So I had to work and pay for it as I go. Some things took me longer than most people. An MBA doesn't take 4 years to get. It took me 4 years to get.
But you got it.
But I got it. Doesn't matter. Let me tell you, that last thesis that I had to submit, right now, if you told me to do this again, somebody told me to go for my PhD, and I said, no. You don't understand. I am done. No, I'm not done, but I'm not going for a PhD. I am going to, because I did finish my law degree, but I didn't go for the bar exam. So my goal is to go back and do 1 year, because you have to go, I think, for a whole year or something like that, catch up on your credits and stuff like that for your JD. And then you can go for the bar exam, which I am going to do. This is like on my bucket list. It has nothing to do with getting it for the prestige to be an attorney, but it's just for the prestige of finishing.
Well, and that's a personal goal.
Yeah, just a personal goal. I put them all the way. I put out there so many goals, and then I'm always surprised when I meet them. It's like, it's always like
you be surprised. You're an achiever.
Actually, I am achieving because of my hard work, but I don't look at the goal every day. So I just put it out there, and we'll see. It's like one of those things. It's like, okay, let's see how this is gonna work. And when I put a deck together, one of those PowerPoint presentation for the Health and Wellness Network of Commerce, and in the deck it says the mission and then the vision, and the vision was by 2022 to have 288 chapters around the world with a minimum of 100 members each. Now again, another proof of the how is not your business. Now that I'm going to have this new technology, that's going to be amazing. I mean, let me explain how this technology is amazing. First of all, it's an app and a website. So the app and the website work in conjunction with each other. If you change anything on the app, it changes on the website. If you change it on the website, it changes on the app. It is basically Match.com, meaning it's not for singles. It's more Match.com in the technology or the business model of introducing the service provider to its clients and the client being able to buy the service from the service provider on the platform.
That is
also,
cool.
Yeah, doing events and posting events on, so like Eventbrite, you can post an event, sell tickets for it. You could do that all on this platform. It's a membership, so the membership is there too, like LinkedIn. So basically, it's a membership that you can also update your own profile, which we don't have right now. Everything is done pretty much manually, but it's still a beautiful website, HWNCC.
Mm-hmm.
But it's nice to see that this technology is going to help all of this, right? So now when this technology is ready by apparently the new deadline is soft launch end of June and the relaunch in August or something like that. Well, once this launches, it's still 2020. So that means we have 2 more years to make this happen. The goal will still happen. It's so cool.
It is beyond cool.
I'm sorry, but I get excited about little things.
Well, you
and
should. Absolutely, you should.
And that's why I say I'm always surprised. How is all this going to happen? How are we going to make it happen? And when the money is not there, what are you going to do, right? And then I'm thinking, what am I going to do? I don't have the money to get this done. There's no way. We don't make enough money with this network I'm investing all of it back into the network, whatever we make, so that the website can keep going and everything. But imagine now, all of a sudden, I get this gift to move this forward. It's just blowing my mind. Right. Exactly.
I'm a firm believer in manifesting your own destiny to a degree. You can't do it with everything, but you can do it with a lot of things.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Right? So, you've got this, you're grooving, you're going to, it's going to be a subscription service like LinkedIn, you said?
Yeah. So Eventbrite, LinkedIn, Match.com, all these technologies put in one.
That's so cool.
It is so cool. I'm still blown away.
That is cool. So, like, your speaker bank will access that and communicate with the people who need that.
Right.
Or you could do it with just about any format. That is nifty.
Mm-hmm. And here's the other thing. So I come up with ideas and my employees always say, oh gosh, or she came up with another idea. Oh God, that's more work for us. I mean, everybody's always scared when I say, I have another idea. And they're like, oh God. That's the first thing they say, because I'll go for it. Whether I know what I'm doing or not, I'll go for it and I'll make it happen. And then they say, well, we don't understand how you did that. And I said, because you guys are just thinking more work. And I'm thinking, oh, how else can we help people?
Exactly.
Very different mentality. What else can we do? So here's another thing. Many of my clients, as much as they work with me and I teach them how to do this business and I build their infrastructure and I show them all the tricks, I never leave anything, left out, kind of a thing. There's the group coaching, one-on-one coaching, whatever. And then they start doing the business on their own. They're loving it. And something happens where they say, how do we get access to your database of event planners? And I say, well, you don't, because it took 23 years for me to build this. So I do share a few lists with you, but you guys have to build your own list. So I show them how to do that as well, and how to contact, what to say first, second, third, etc., how to deal with rebuttals. But then I had an epiphany. A few years ago, I was thinking, what if I created something that would be for the event planners instead of for the speakers? What if I did that? And then I left it dormant. I just thought about it. And then a few months ago, not even a lot, this is like maybe 3-4 months ago, again, just before this pandemic and all that, I had the idea, what if I did a directory, like, TV and radio have a directory of personalities, of celebrities that they can call if they need a guest. What if I had a directory, like a magazine and directory for event planners to choose speakers? And the speakers would pay for having an ad in the magazine directory. So they can have a small ad, they can have a big ad, whatever. They can choose. Everybody has their own budget. And poof, we created the Speakers and Experts magazine and directory. Believe it or not, it's coming out, first issue in June 1st.
Too cool.
I know. And here's the thing. It's going to 26,000 of my event planners out of 58,000 that I have in my database. So these event planners are going to love this because now they have a one-stop shop for speakers. They don't have to go online and start looking and reading all these emails from all these from all these speakers. They can actually look at something one shot and have a choice. And if they don't find it there, they can go by the traditional way. But still, this is going to grow by itself.
I think that is so cool. Look at you.
I'm telling you. So all these little things, and that's what I'm not saying all this to impress you at all. I am saying all of this.
Well, it's working if you were.
Oh, you're adorable. I'm saying all of this because people actually feel very dizzy after I tell them everything I do. Or every company I have. And I didn't tell you everything yet. But it's okay. My point here is that, you see, you just have to put out there what you want to do. The money will come. The ideas will come. Act on them. Learn from them. If you fail, well, at least you tried. If you fail, you at least did something that made you learn something else. Yes, some of us have families and people to take care of, and you can't really gamble. Gamble to the extent that you can. Don't gamble money, gamble time. Gamble, gamble other things than money. It's not always about the money. And then again, the money will come. You can reinvest it into the business. You can reinvest it into yourself, and you can keep a day job. Many speakers ask me that all the time. Can I do speaking and learn and do that and grow my speaking business until I make enough to leave my traditional job? And I say, yes, of course. That's up to you, though. I'm not going to tell you how to live your life. Yes, you can actually never always keep your job forever if you want. If you love your job, keep it. That'll give you your stability of income. Plus, you will be changing people's lives while getting paid. Double whammy. Awesome. Yeah.
It's a great double whammy, though.
I know. And that's why I say it, because people lack imagination. The thing is, we get stuck in this rut of what the media is doing to our brain with lack and, oh my God, and economy. And, I'm not saying this is not happening, guys. Please don't get me wrong. I know it's happening. I just feel that we can all come out of this on a better side.
I know. It's like, well, you're talking about media, but it's not just the media. It's the naysayers that seem to get the attention, right? But I keep hearing recession. Well, the recession is based on jobless numbers.
Right.
That's what defines a recession, is 2 periods with reducing employment. Well, you know what? If we are going into a recession, this is not a normal course of events. This is not a normal recession. This is a manipulated recession based on people's health issues, and I'm not going to go with my opinion on the background behind why the situation exists, but this was not due to anything that was the United States' fault. So there's no reason to think that once we get back out into the job market, if everybody is intelligent with their behaviors, that we cannot just keep moving forward safely, more aware of hygiene, more aware of spacing, and a lot of people have discovered that they can work at home now.
Yep.
So that's been a great growing thing for our economy as well, because people can be more productive. They're living healthier lives because they're not dealing with stress from commutes. They're being, they're logging and having results so their employers know they're working. The way we do business has probably changed from this point, and I'll be surprised if the way a lot of people do education hasn't changed from this point, for those that are fortunate enough to be able to stay home. But, we're being told that we're going into a recession. The people are trying to instill fear and worry. And if you listen to it, it's like you said, you quit listening. I listen to a lot of music through the course of my day now.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't even listen to podcasts very much because I like politics. I was a poli-sci major. I think it's fun and interesting, and I enjoy it. And it's gotten to the point now where everything is such a crisis, and there's no give and take in dialogue. You know, people are killing themselves over media hype from both sides of the aisle, may I say. You know, I think that people just need to realize that, you know, they work for us, put them to work, and go about your life. And don't let them do the bully pulpit thing. Just go about your life.
Exactly.
So that sure went went political quick. Sorry about that. But it's not really political. It's a humanist thing.
Yeah.
You know.
And also, you know what? We are all allowed to our opinions. We can listen. You see, a lot of people say, well, I'm inundated. I mean, I'm sorry. I need to be informed. That's what people say. I need to be informed. Yes, but you don't have to be inundated. Informed is like, you know, listen to 15 minutes of the news in the evening. You'll pretty much have a summary of everything that happened that day, and that's good enough.
Listen to a few different channels.
What?
Listen to a few different channels. Read a few different papers or magazines. Don't be body slammed by one or another's individual opinions, because, you know, all the talking heads, they're sharing their opinions.
Exactly.
Their
it's not
opinion
delivery
goes
of
into the spin.
Correct.
Just listen to the facts.
Yep.
So.
And that's what I even tell my husband. I'm like, you gotta just listen to one thing, and for 10, 15 minutes a day, the rest of it, do something productive with yourself. You know, there's so many opportunities. I don't listen to the news. I can't take it. And by the way, I do a lot of guided meditation to keep me grounded, to keep me happy, to keep me in abundance, to keep me, you know, to keep me in la la land. Because I need to be in la la land with all the stress I go through and all the information that I have to deal with every single day, besides what's going on in the world. I have my own world, which, you know.
It's a good thing.
It is a good thing. I'm not complaining about it.
And they know us there. We know us there.
Exactly. I'm not complaining at all. I'm saying, you know what? Keep yourself busy with things that make you happy. That's what I'm saying.
And
keep yourself
do something about.
Exactly. Some things, who can you control? Just yourself. You can't control anything else. You can't control other people. You can't control the environment. You can't control the politics. You can't control what's going on in the world. You can definitely control how you react to it.
Yes.
That's it.
Absolutely.
And
what kind of risk you're putting yourself at. You know, you can minimize or maximize your risk depending on how you live your life.
Absolutely.
And that's a personal choice. So,
you know what, Kat? I've been doing mini videos now that I'm going to be publishing, and it's all about my 10 daily habits, my 10 personally daily habits. Then I have my 10 professional daily habits, and we are creatures of habits. And the more positive habits we create for ourselves, the better we are. And even, you know, a lot of people think, well, you know, the rich people don't have habits. Oh, no, that's what got them to be rich, is their habits, is the way they do business. I wrote a blog about this. I wrote, you can be like the rich people and go buy stocks because they're low now. You know what I mean? Or you can be like the poor mindset people and go buy toilet paper.
Yeah.
You know, you can go buy stocks or stock on toilet paper. That was my blog. Because it's sad, but it's true.
It is.
You can find a good way out of this, or you can deal with the negativity all day long.
And it doesn't do any good if you're dealing with the negative side of it, because you can't change anything.
Right.
And I know that sounds so defeatist, but it really isn't. It's very liberating when you realize that this is not my color Kool-Aid. I'm going to survive this.
Right.
You know, hopefully. I don't see any reason to doubt that.
Right.
But, you know, you just keep doing you and keep on your path, right? And live your life, live your best life.
Yep.
The hardest part is not getting to see your grandchildren.
I know.
I will say that. But, you know, that's not a That's not a forever thing. And thank God for the technology that we have.
Exactly. Thank God.
And it makes the whole day better, right?
Mm-hmm.
What are some of your... Well, we've only got 2 minutes, but give me one or two of your personal daily habits.
I'm going to make it really quick. Yeah, okay. My first thing is I drink a lot of water in the morning first thing, and then I drink my coffee because it makes me feel good. I do my daily affirmations. There's about 100 of them, but it takes me about 3 minutes. I also do my gratitude list. I write it down every single day, and it's about 60 or 70 things that I'm grateful for, and that takes another 5-10 minutes. Then I do some guided meditation. I also do some reading, like some kind of reading that'll teach me something. And then I will also, tidy up, take my shower, all that good stuff, get ready. I am ready to go. I am happy, happy, happy. At that moment, I just want to jump up and down.
I love that.
Mm.
You're very good at giving lists in a quick format.
Yeah, well, you told me I have 2 minutes. I rushed. I'm like, okay, let me do this really quick.
I love the affirmations portion because I have a good friend named Ray Davis who is the owner of the Affirmation Spot.
Oh, cool.
Twitter and Facebook and I don't remember what kind of website it is, .com, .net. But at any rate, find him on Twitter, the Affirmation Spot, and he is just fantastic for these things. And he's also on Facebook, the Affirmation Spot, Ray Davis.
Oh, cool.
So
okay, I'll look it up.
If you run out, you've got some there.
I will definitely look it up.
So
interesting.
He's brilliant. And we are going to go take that break since I, interrupted the other one. So everybody, just hang with us. We'll be right back with our final segment of tonight's Fate magazine with Orly Amor. And we'll talk to you then.
You are listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, the best in paranormal talk, only on Paranormal Experience Radio, broadcasting live out of Birmingham, Alabama.
Oh, come on. I'm Southern, but... Nope. That'll do. Hello. I am Kat Hobson, host of Paranormal Experience here on WBHM Digital Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama. I enjoy having guests from all areas of the paranormal, from ghosts to ufology to cryptids and beyond. You'll find some of the best researchers in their fields bringing you some great information. Join me on Wednesday nights from 8 to 10 p. Eastern here on WBHM Digital Broadcasting.
Since 1948, Fate magazine has brought you reports of the strange and unknown, all of them true. Fate Radio is carrying on that tradition, bringing you the unusual, macabre, strange, and bizarre. Join host Kat Hobson Sunday nights from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern on WBHM Digital Broadcasting.
Listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, the best in paranormal talk, only on Paranormal Experienced Radio, broadcasting live out of Birmingham, Alabama.
Thank you for listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama. The time is 45 minutes after the hour. Welcome back to the final segment of Fate Mag Radio here on WBHM Digital Broadcasting. I'm so glad you're here, and I'm so glad that Orly has been here. We're into our final bit of information, and Orly, I just can't tell you how much fun I'm having with you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well,
I'm having fun too. My pleasure.
Well, we were going to talk about something, but I do have a question that I need to ask you.
Okay.
From chat. And the question is, what are your favorite places in some of the states you've been in, and which place in the other countries is your favorite? She said she's missing travel, so she wants to hear your favorites.
Okay, I don't know why, but your voice was cutting off quite a bit, and I heard very little. So is it about what my favorite places that I've traveled to?
Yes, and in the States and in a foreign country.
So far, my foreign country that I love the most is Greece. Because there's so much history there, and a lot of things that we apply in our daily lives come from there. Many philosophies and the law, many, many, many things. Olympics. I don't know how many things were born in Greece, but many. My next favorite place will be Australia, but I did not get to Australia, so that would be my next favorite place, but only on pictures. But Greece is from the countries I visited. Greece would be number one for now. Then you said the United States. In the United States, I think my favorite place so far, because I haven't been everywhere, so that won't make it right. But I'll tell you, for history and just overall knowledge, I learned a lot in Boston. And the second place would be San Diego for the weather. But now I like a lot warmer climates, so let's go south as much as possible.
I'm a firm believer in going south as much as possible. So, I manage it too. That's the one thing that matters to me.
Mm-hmm.
So, as far as travel goes, it must be fairly warm. Although,
yes,
I like New York too. So I just like everything.
I love to travel. So anytime you tell me, Orly, you want to come to whatever, Timbuktu, I would say, road trip. Yes. I'm on. I'm in. I'm definitely in. This has been the longest I have not traveled from the end of January till now. I canceled, I don't know how many trips already, but it's been the longest I have not traveled, and it's driving me crazy. I can tell you that. For someone like me, last year, I don't know how much, I was more in the air than I was on the ground, but it was great, and I love it.
Yeah, I love flying. I'm curious to see how that's going to work when we get back to it.
I'll just wear a mask and get my Lysol still on time. I bring my Lysol on the plane before coronavirus. Yes. I was on planes. I had my wipes. I even went on a cruise and I had my own wipes and Lysol bottle and everything. I cleaned my own cabin. It took 2 hours. It took 2 hours to clean my cabin, but then I enjoyed the whole week.
There you go. I can see that.
Mm-hmm. Now, so I'll keep doing that.
Oh, definitely. Now I would like to get back to what we were talking about before we came back from the break. Because, it was something that really matters to you.
Yes.
And people want to know that.
Mm-hmm. So in this day and age, and always, I've been teaching around the world how your network is your net worth. If you don't make enough money, it's because you don't know enough people. But what a better time right now to connect with people on a deeper level. There's so many ways, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I mean, just finding people is easy. But then creating a relationship where there's a win-win-win, where you can help them, they can help you, and with no expectation, because I'm one of those people, I give without expectation of return. I just believe in the law of return. I don't think, that if you give me something, it will come back from me necessarily. It might come back from another person, but that's just the way the law of return works. It's going to be given to you tenfold somehow, some way from a different source, and that's fine. But what a great way to connect with people right now with this technology that we have. Imagine in the old days where there was no phones, nothing, barely a radio, and one station on that radio. Imagine if we were in those times, So how gratitude plays is great, but now it's using the technology we do have to connect with people on a deeper level. How can I support you? That's my question. My question to people is not what do you do? How do you do it? Because I don't want to do what you do. I really don't. Like if I meet a CPA, I definitely do not want to know how he does his job. No. Thank God he exists. That's all I can tell you. Right?
That's the truth, right?
I do not want to do that.
Not my killer Kool-Aid.
Hey, I can, but I won't. I refuse to do numbers. So how can I support him? And I've had this conversation with an IT person. He was saying to me, well, how can you support me? You don't know what I do. I said, I don't need to know what you do because I don't want to do what you do. So, okay, what do you do? He's like, I'm an IT person. I said, okay, now can we move to my question? How can I support you? He said, well, how can you support me? I said, well, tell me who you want to meet. I have a great database. Who do you want to meet? And we were at the Jacob Javits Center here in New York. And he says, well, I would like to meet people that have a computer. And I said, he goes, anybody. Sorry. He said, I want to meet anybody. And I said, anybody. Okay. Before I came into the Javits Center, I actually bought myself a hot dog. And the guy was using an iPhone. So I think he has a computer. Do you want to meet him? He was really nice to me too. He's like, no, I don't want to meet him. I'm like, okay. On my way in, also, I met this homeless person and I gave him $1, but he was so nice. He actually thanked me and blessed my day. Do you want to meet him? He's like, no, I don't want to meet him. I said, okay, who do you want to meet? He's like, I want to meet a lawyer. Okay, you want to meet a lawyer. You want to meet one lawyer that works out of his basement with one computer, or do you want to meet a law firm of 3 computers or more? Oh, he goes, well, I would like to meet a law firm with 3 computers or more. I said, oh, hallelujah. Ah. Like this song came into my head. I'm like, okay, let's start over. How can I support you? He's like, well, if you can introduce me to law firms that have 3 computers or more, that would be great. And I'm like, well, hallelujah, praise the Lord. You just told me how to help you. Now, this is what happened. I mean, it's really that simple. Yet people try to complicate things by telling me everything they do and their laundry list of everything they provide for others. I don't care. Not necessarily I don't care in the sense of, oh, really, I don't care. I just don't know how to help you with that. I don't want to do what you do. So tell me how I can support you. I'm giving people examples when I say that. Maybe you need some social media love. Maybe you need somebody to promote you. Maybe you need somebody to share your event, your radio show, whatever it is with other people. Guess what? I'm connected. Why not? Some people are connected, maybe not to my level, but maybe more, maybe less. Who cares? Even 3 people listening to your show, to your other thing that came from my database is a blessing, and we grow from there.
Absolutely.
Maybe I can help you by introducing you to a certain person, maybe an architect, maybe a lawyer, maybe whatever. Maybe you want to meet a single mom that is struggling right now and you can help her. I don't know. I'm just saying, you need to find out what it is that you want in your life or need right now. And when you meet people, you need to ask them the same thing. How can I support you? Now, you may say to me, well, Orly, I don't know that many people. I don't know how to support others. Well, let me ask you this. If by any chance the occasion has arisen where you can help them, would you? If the answer to that is yes, it's okay to ask, how can I support you? Maybe today you don't know a CPA that you want to introduce to this person that's looking for CPAs. But when you do meet one, would you mind sharing that person's information with the person that asked you to meet CPAs? Why not?
Absolutely not.
Exactly. So that's where I say networking is so important, and people have frowned on it because everybody that goes to networking events, they're going to collect business cards and share business cards.
I got so knocked over by your blog about the business card drawer. Because, yes. I am guilty. I have a box that sits on my desk, and it's a clear box. So I can see all the business cards that are stacked in it, right? And do you know that I almost never open that?
Mm-hmm. I do know.
And I'm always looking for good guests, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm always looking for somebody that's got a different story to tell that hasn't been on every show on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
And, because I don't want to have interviewed somebody and then go to my friend's show, the next night or two, and that same person is there, because it's a redundancy for me.
Mm-hmm.
Although I do have people who do what I do that they don't even know they're mentoring me, but they are. Because I go and listen to their shows, and I will listen to them interview someone that I did to see how they do it differently.
Mm-hmm.
So
sure,
it
why
depends on
not?
the host.
Mm-hmm. Totally. So
Because
I have a
want to
cute
get
story
better.
about that. I know we don't have much time left, but
Poor Max.
I have a cute story. Okay, then I'll make this as quick as possible because it's very thought-provoking. I have this is me or more. Okay, he might have 250,000 contacts in his database. I might have 140,000 people in my database. But it's no competition. We've always helped each other. We've always gone to networking events together. So one day he invited me to go with him to a networking event that was supposed to have like 300-400 people there. And we were the first ones to arrive. And when we were in the elevator, he shows me the stack of business cards he brought to the event. And I showed him my 3 cards that I bring to the event. And he's like, 3 cards? Are you crazy? I said, okay, I'll make a bet with you that when we leave, I will still have my 3 cards when we leave, and you won't. And he said, okay, it's a deal. What are we betting on? I said, well, if I win, you buy me dinner. If I lose, then, I buy you dinner. He's like, fair enough, because we've known each other for so long. There's no need to make it a big bet.
Right.
Now we're at this event. We're meeting people. Everything goes well. Now we're back in the I'm fast forwarding this whole thing. So now we're in the elevator back out of this event. And he says to me, I said to him, so how many cards do you have left? He goes, oh my God, I ran out of my cards so long ago. I'm like, oh wow. So how many cards have you collected? And he takes this big pile out. It's like, 2 inches thick. I said, wow, that's amazing. And he says, so how many cards did you collect from people? And I show him this little pile, maybe 15, 20 cards. And then he says, so how many cards do you have left from your 3? I pulled out my 3 cards. He's like, how is that even possible? How can you have your 3 cards on you? I said, because all the people that I kept meeting were shoving their card at me, but they were not asking me for my card.
Right.
Nobody asked me for my card. All these people I spoke to, nobody asked me for my card. 3 cards were in my pocket still. And he was like, I can't believe it. I said, because Mark, and that's him, my friend Mark, I said, because Mark, people are more interested about themselves. They're not interested about helping me. They're not interested about what I do. They're not interested about anything. They're all interested about just telling me about them, their business, and how much I need it. Yeah. Even when I don't need anything. So the law of reciprocity works this way. If you help somebody, and Zig Ziglar said it best, if you help enough people get what they want, you will get what you want.
Yep.
So yeah, and that's and look how we met, Kat. And here we are having an amazing conversation, helping all these people that are listening to your show. And of course, from this, we'll have other opportunities to work together because I already thought of a ton of those, just by seeing the video you created for me. I'm like, oh my God, I need to talk to this girl. And my assistant just wrote to me a text message while we were on the break. I checked my phone and she's like, oh my God, who did this video? It's amazing. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Okay, well, we have to talk.
Thank you.
But this is how things go. This is how things evolve.
Well, it is. And, we are just about to have to wrap it up. As much as I absolutely hate to do that, I'm having so much fun.
Me too.
I would like it, if you could, you've got your Amazon page, your author page, where they can find all of your books. And that is, you just go to Amazon.com, books, Orly Amor.
Yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm.
And the books, I can only tell you, I've already got 2 of them, and I'm through the first one. So, it's something that is definitely worth your time to go and look at because, she put all that work into them. Go check them out. So,
and if you ever want to
help you.
Oh, sorry. Mm-hmm.
And then you've got your website. And do you just have the one website?
Well, actually, if people want to go either on my webinar or join my Facebook group or anything like that, they just have to do orlyvip.com/webinar. They can register for the free webinar. orlyvip.com/group will get them into my Business Income Accelerator Facebook group, and they can get a bunch of gifts over there as well. Basically, this is how everything is now set up, is that, and if they want to know more about the magazine, again, it's orlyvip.com/magazine. Very simple, so people can not have to remember how to get to my website or anything like that, besides the fact that we're revamping my website, but it's all good. And if they want to email me directly, it's orly@orlyamor.com. Super easy.
Super easy. And, I have just had so much fun talking with you.
Oh,
Thank
same
you
here.
for being here. And,
Thank you.
It sounds crazy, but I was thinking when you and I were speaking the other day that there are going to be so many people transitioning their work, whether their business can't reopen and they're looking for something to do, whether it's, they've discovered virtual life and that's the life for me, or, different reasons come from different seasons. And you have something to offer someone who is looking to transition. You have so much to offer. You're brilliant. You're very motivational. You can help people making that transition that come to you, and you will take them out of the doldrums just talking to you. So, reach out. If you're somebody who is looking to transition your life, then this is someone who can help you. Orly Amor is fantastic. She's brilliant, and she's compassionate. So thank you again for being here. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate you.
Thank you. And for all of our listeners, I am, whether it's live or podcast later for the replays, don't forget you can get those through iHeart, Deezer, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iTunes. Pretty much anywhere you want to go. Ooh, Castbox FM. That's pretty cool. But just go and listen. If you had to miss part of it, it's always out there for you. And we will be back. Monday is the Paranormal Pride, where Denise will be hosting Richard Estep. I will be back on Wednesday, and we'll see how that goes because my guest is sick right now. So it may be a monologue. Just kidding. And then Friday will be Ghost Talk Radio with Shelley Burke-Robertson. We'll be running a rebroadcast of Paraversal Universe. And then I will be back Sunday with another fantastic episode of Fate Mag Radio with my guest, Michael Salas, Dr. Michael Salas. So that's going to be interesting because he is who I first learned about a whole lot of stuff about ufology, but this space program, I'm interested. He's got stuff on it. So we'll learn. Thanks again, and we will see you same time, same cat channel, and we will rock it just all the way through. Be safe, take care of you, and you know what? If you do not like the situations that you're seeing around you, then this would be a fantastic time to be the change that you want to see. We have so many options available to us. We can't be everything for everybody, but you know what? You can change your world, which will change the world. Pray about it. Manifest that. We don't all pray the same, but we all seem to be looking for the same goals. Work what you do. And let's bring this world back to a little bit of love, peace, and tranquility. I think that that's one of the best ways we can help our fellow man, woman, and child. So thank you so much. Orly, thank you again.
Thank you.
And we'll check you next time. Good night.
You are listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, the best in paranormal talk, only on Paranormal Experience Radio. Broadcasting live out of Birmingham, Alabama.